Well, hello. Welcome to today's webinar, all about the Accountants Benchmark Report 2023. My name is Rob Nixon, coming to you live today from Brisbane, Australia. It is 7 o'clock in the morning here in Bris Vegas. Very, very chilly morning, but for you, most of you in the afternoon. Now, so just as we get going, just into a sound check, make sure you can hear me. Please open up the chat. We're going to be using the chat a fair bit today. Open up the chat and just pop in there, hi from, wherever you're from. And just so you can hear me and see me, just make sure we've got all that and then we'll get started. So open up the chat. Great, David. Tucson, Atlanta. That's Atlanta today. Miami, Florida, Orlando. Cool. Colorado, Montreal, Vancouver. Anyone from Australia here? Bellevue. Oh, we got one from Australia. Cool. Roger Nixon. Well, there you go. You know, Roger, one of my bucket list goals is to take a Rob Nixon to lunch. So you're close. John in Melbourne, we got Nebraska, Calgary, Barry in Ontario, Liam, good to see you. Denver, Brisbane, we've got Damien, there you go. It's Damien from Brisbane. We've got a local here. Prescott, Arizona, Troy, New York. Everyone is piling in. We had 531 registrations for this webinar. It is insane. So let's kick into it. You can all hear me and see me, which is great. This is being recorded. Your just for admin, your messages, your texting, chatting will not be recorded, but voice and slides recorded. And so I want to use this as a two-way communication where any questions you've got, pop them into the chat and we'll get through them. We've allowed an hour and a half for this webinar. We'll see how we go. We might go a little bit longer, might be a little bit shorter. Depends on how many questions you've got. This is your time. So what's this all about, right? What's it all about? Well, what it's all about is this document coming onto your screen right now, the newly released, freshly minted, freshly printed Accountants Benchmark Report. All 44 pages of it. However, not all was content, of course. And I just want to skip through a couple of points and just show you what we've covered here. And then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of, what were the key findings outside of what we've written. So first of all, 293 participants registered and participated in this report. So good sample size, of which 74% were between $1 and $6 million in revenue, a few lower and a couple higher, of course. And so we've covered topics, whether it be growth rate, profit per partner, admin to headcount ratio, whether it be, is that a real background? Is it really cool? Yes, Harry. Okay, Harry's asked the first question. Yes, it's real. Harry, there's no things here. You're inside my clubhouse, Harry. I have a golf course in my front yard. In fact, the world's best backyard golf course. Just Google that, or Yarravale. That's my wall of hats, Harry, where I have collecting as I play the top 100 golf courses in the world and the top 100 in Australia. Back to our regular viewing, Harry, please. So I answer all questions, as you'll find out. Whether it be percentage of profitability, leverage, revenue per FTE, and so on and so forth. And really cool right at the end, I just want to show you this, what you're getting into. But how to use it, all the data, So we've got a big table here of all the data from all the firms. All of the firms that participated have their benchmark numbers already mapped here. They've already got their reports. Why aren't you going there? Well, page down, here we go. Covering issues. Interesting, as we get into this, key issues. 38% said finding people was a key issue. Yet 26% said efficiency was the biggest issue, which is amazing. Why don't you focus on efficiency first and you won't need as many people? Bizarre, right? Not enough A-class clients. Well, that's a marketing problem, of course. Lots of content around that. The opportunities, workflow improvement. So again, if the opportunity is workflow improvement and the biggest issue is finding people, wouldn't you work on workflow improvement first and sort that, get more efficient? Not many people need it. All right, so you can read all about that and so on and so forth. Success drivers, all that. All right, blah, blah, blah. Right, so lots of good stuff in there. Lots of really good stuff in there. You'll all get a copy of the report to chew on later on. But today, as my skiing friends call it, we're going off. Doing is going to be deeper than what's actually in the report itself. So what's actually in there? Well, first of all, let's talk about our unhidden agenda. We have an agenda with this webinar. We coach accounting firms and we coach very specific types of accounting firms. We want to help 8 firms right now. I'll repeat this at the end. And if you are more than $1 million in revenue, I'll tell you why this criteria is so important in a moment. 1 to 5 aligned partners, you're ambitious and you're coachable, then let's meet to see if we can help. I'll put the many details in the chat or use that QR code around. Why that criteria? Here's why. We have a 5 times guarantee, 5x, on what you pay us per year, you will earn back in profitability, otherwise you don't pay us. So we're very selective in who we take on. We want to make sure you're aligned, you're going to be coachable, you're going to do, you're going to implement, you're a good size now, and we want to help you really increase your profitability and reduce your client delivery time dramatically. So if that's you, you can either pop in the details right now, pop in the chat right now, and I'll just put the meeting link in there as well. Hang on a tick. People often ask me, why is the $1 million cutoff? Well, our objective is to get you to $1 million profit per partner. And we say to firms, if you can get to $1 million in revenue, we'll help you get to $1 million in profit. So that's the plan. $1 million in revenue now. Just put the meeting details in the chat. There you go. Cool. So you can do that. Yeah, partners should be aligned. Exactly right, Catherine. So we're going to come back to that. Now, to do the setup, we're going to be talking about 4 really distinct findings in the report over and above all. Thank you, Kevin. This stuff works. You're right, buddy. All right, good to see you here. And over and above what you read in the report. And I'm going to spend about 2 minutes talking about a setup, so to speak, of one of the new numbers. And the new number is called the Sustainability Index. So what our firms that we coach implement is called AOS, Accountants Operating System. What is it? And this will be the setup to this first indicator called the Sustainability Index. What is it? It's a best practice methodology to run your accounting firm, the best way. And then from there, what it is an end-to-end solution to help you essentially reduce personal time dramatically, increase profit, and build a more sustainable business. And we measure all that all the way through. The model to get to this, because the ultimate goal is this, what I'm going to talk about in a moment, called Sustainability Index. So I'm going to show you some of the what to do to get to what's called Investor Model Sustainability Index. So I'm going to focus on operations. We're going to sort out operations, workflow, cash flow, the tech, this reporting, the systems. We're going to sort that out. We're going to overhaul the way you currently do it. Just because you're moderately successful now doesn't mean you can't be uber successful. You can. Time. Have to sort out your time, particularly partner time, your personal effectiveness, how you delegate, what you do with your partner time, best way, what we call the 30-60-10 rule, and utilization of VAs and PAs to get more effective and free up time. In fact, we have a really cool delegation model, and it's called Creating Time. And we just rolled it out to all of our firms the last couple of months. And we did an exercise at the end. Okay, once you implement this, how much more free time will you get per partner in a month? The least score, the lowest score was 20 hours per month. The highest score was 140 hours per month out of 160. How to delegate effectively, how to create time to do something more useful. Really cool. Clients, this is all leading to one point, right? Clients, getting a great mix of target market, communication with clients, classifying clients, how you build client relationships, and loyalty with clients. Your people, getting the right people on the bus, wrong people off the bus. Your structure, your organizational structure, team performance, culture, behavior, products. What are you actually selling here? Document types, product types, are they documented? Packaged appropriately? Is the product scalable? And what is the menu of services available? Growth. How do you actually grow the top line? By pricing, by client growth, as in more clients buying more things, by marketing, sales techniques, and M&A work as well. Leadership, so taking a leadership position, operational plan, what does that look like? Alignment of not just the partners, Katarina, not just the partner alignment, but the team alignment as well. Vision, strategy, and what I call lasercution, which is execution with laser focus, or getting stuff done. Replace yes with something else. And last thing, momentum, getting momentum, team engagement, meeting rhythms, solving issues, innovation and themes. And all of this leads to, the implementation of this leads to a really cool number on how we measure all of this. So here's the journey. Here's the journey. The objective is your time, profitability, and scalability. And depending on your implementation, effectiveness, and speed, will determine how quickly you go up these 3 levels. Level 3 is the peak. Level 1, this is where we meet firms. Level 1 is the practice owner level. Practitioners practicing their craft. Previously, you worked in an accounting firm as a graduate, then you went through the ranks, you moved a couple of accounting firms, and then you went out on your own, either bought a block of fees, maybe bought into the current firm you're at, started something new, who knows, but you were a practice owner practicing. And that's okay. However, you're grinding it out, working too much in it, working too much in the business. And it's okay money, but you have less time. Then we come into it. We typically meet firms there. Practitioners practicing their craft. Team, this is a business. It's time to stop practicing. You've been at it long enough. We've got a business to run here. So let's go to level 2. Level 2 is where you already own a business, but now we have a different mentality and we put different systems in place to be a business owner. And here we spend more time working on the business, as Michael Gerber coined the phrase in 1986, would you believe, in the E-Myth. You'll know it, working on versus working in. So you spend more time working on than working in. And as a result of that, you get more money, more time. Awesome, but that's not the top level. The top level, if you choose to go there, not all firms want to go there. If you choose, all those 40 points before an implementation, they get implemented. And as a result, you get to this level if you choose to. And the level is called investor. And this is where you're an owner, but not an operator. You own an accounting business, but you don't work in the accounting business. You don't do any client work. You don't do any marketing. You don't do any sales. And as a result of this, you have a business like an investment that ticks over, that ticks over, that ticks over. And here, this is where we create generational wealth. You jump from practice owner to business owner, from business owner to investor. And with this model, you decide your speed. You decide, I've got a case study firm I'm talking about in a moment, where 3 years ago, they were practice owner, 80% productive. We coach this firm, 80% productive for the partner, 80%, working his tail off. 3 years later, 2% productive, as in client delivery time, for the owner. And it's only a $2 million firm. I'm going to come back to that case study. That particular firm is so close to being an owner, but not an operator. You choose how far you want to go with this, and you choose, some like being a practice owner, good on you. You're just looking for a few tweaks, you really love the work, good on you. But you won't get wealthy doing it. You'll have a nice lifestyle. You get to business owner level. Now we're talking, right? When we're more time working on the business rather than in the business, you've got more time availability. A lot more money coming through. Typically, business owner, we like to get you to more than $1 million profit after tax and your working life down below 500 hours. But if you choose to go to investor, that's where it all changes. So I put this model out, and whilst I was writing the report this year, I thought, okay, how can I measure that? How can I measure a firm that is at investor level? So I came up with a number. I call this sustainability index. This is in the report, but I'm going to go into deeper detail about the case study I've got here. What is the sustainability index? The sustainability index is how it answers a question. This number answers a question. The question is, how sustainable is the firm without the partners doing client work? That's the question. Because if the partners were not doing client work, then we could make a sale. Here's an example. I had a meeting, Zoom meeting about 2 months ago with an old client from 10 years ago, Debbie from Colorado. And Debbie says, Rob, this is a thank you meeting. I said, okay, what about? She said, I just sold my firm for 2.5 times revenue. 2.5 times revenue. Wow. She said, cash deal. I'm not going with it. Basically, there you go. Took the check. See you later. Why? Because Debbie wasn't on the tools. She had an infinitely more valuable business. Now, she could have kept it as well, but she chose to sell it. She chose to sell that business. So the question is, how sustainable is the firm, the business, without the partners in it? Here is the equation. Here is the equation. The equation is 1 minus revenue by the partners divided into total profit before partners' salaries. So let's say, for example, 2-partner firm, revenue contribution by the partners is $745,290. The profitability for the whole firm before partner salaries is 1.4 million, therefore 47%. To make it even easier for you, let's say you do $1 million in profit before partners' salaries, and the partner's contribution to the revenue is $100,000. Therefore, sustainability index is 90%. On the flip side, if the profitability is $1 million before partner salaries, yet the partners do $900,000 in personal revenue, therefore 10%. So of course, the higher the number, the less partner reliance, because we've got leverage here, the more sustainable this business is. As we looked at all the respondents to the report, staggering numbers. Lower quartile, in fact, 26% had negative sustainability, which meant the partner's contribution to the revenue was more than the profit of the firm in 26% of cases. That's wild, team. That's wild. Without the partners, there is no business. Now, when you're in it, grinding away, the partners are working big hours, you don't see it. But if you took the partners away, there's no business at all. The most profitable percentage business in the report, not the most profitable by partner, but the profit percentage, 85%. I've put this as a case study in the report. 85% profit. So that's interesting. $1.7 million in revenue, 85%. Guess what? The 3 partners did $1.6 million of the 1.7 million with a team of 5. There is, without the partner, might as well close up shop and work from home to save the hassle of the people. So the question, the median result, 20%, the upper quartile, 58%. We had just four at 100%, as in the partners had a thriving firm, but the partners were not doing the client work. Do we like this number? I know it's a big number as far as get your head around and go, wow, without me, there's no business. Just give me a little, you've all gone to sleep slightly. Give me a yes, no, whatever. Jay, if you can just put your message in the chat, that'd be great. How are you feeling about this so far? Give me some love. Yes. Where are the KPIs? They're coming, Jay. Hang on. Interesting. Denny, good to see you here. Eye-opening, yeah. So let's have a look at some of the numbers with one firm I selected and their makeup. They were not 100% sustainable index, but they were so close. I know this firm really, really well. They were so close that they could be within a year if they chose to. So this particular firm is a two-partner firm. Accountants, 27, admin and marketing, 8. So it's at 37 bodies, 37 people, of which 12, this is from Maryland in the USA, 12 are in the Philippines. Revenue per FTE is $200,000 round figures. Leverage, 18 to 1. Cool. Good leverage of people per partner. Revenue, 7.4 million. When I met them, we've been working together coming up to 5 years next month. When I met them, they were 3.4. So we've grown the revenue exponentially. Salaries at 2.4 here. 1.5 in overheads, costs 3.9, profit at 3.5 round figures. Profit when I met them was profit when I met them was about 1.2. We've taken the profit now to 3.5. Profit per partner 1.7, and that's all great. But what are the key underlying numbers here? So the productivity of this two-partner firm, as in client delivery time, was 15% each. In fact, one partner does 0. The other partner does about 450 client delivery hours. In fact, that particular partner did $275,000 of the total revenue. However, that particular partner can't stand working with clients. Sign me up, Eric. I love it, right? We had a conversation 5 years ago, Eric, if I recall, right? Productivity of the accountant, 60%. So, and I'm going to make some comments about this firm as well. So comment number 1 is back to the partner productivity. This firm is a machine. It works exceptionally well. And the partners have got one partner has got his hands in work he just shouldn't be doing. And he knows it, and he's making moves afoot to change that. Within a year, that particular firm should be at 0% partner productivity. Accountants, 60%. So they've got 27 accountants here and 60% productivity or utilization. And that's all cool, but there's clearly a lot more room for improvement to take that to say 75% without adding any more people or cost. We could add some more revenue, bring some more revenue, and we've got capacity. Average hourly rate, $272 for the client delivery hours. So again, there's room here to take that to $350, $400 without much effort, and they could blow the lid off this and get to 10 million pretty quickly. They know this. I've already told them this. Now, the sustainability index is 92%. It's 92% because one partner is still doing some client work, but doesn't need to. So with these numbers, you can't look at one number in isolation. Like, for example, the firm that I mentioned 5 minutes ago that had $1.7 million in revenue and 85% profit. You go 85%, that's wow, right? That's amazing. However, when you look a bit deeper, without the partners, there is no profit. Here, we've got a really cool mix of numbers, and about 50% profit thereabouts, and with capacity to grow more. We have to look at all the numbers together, not in isolation of one number. So that's the first one. Sustainability index. The question is, how sustainable is your firm without you? What are you building here? Are you building a well-paying job, or are you building a business that can create generational wealth? Your choice. Second big one, profit per partner. How much profit do firms make per partner before partner salaries? The lower quartile, $244,000. Median result, $412. Upper quartile, $614, not bad. Best result, just over $3 million for a sole practitioner firm in Florida. And I'm using this particular one as a case study, the $3 million profit firm, because they were last year in the report as well at $2 million in profit. I'm going to tell you what they actually did. So here's the makeup of this firm. One partner, as I mentioned, 13 accountants, and you'll see why these numbers stack up the way they do, and I'll get some commentary on them as well. 13 accountants, 2 admin and marketing. So revenue per full-time equivalent, 345,000, pretty good. Leverage 15 to 1. Revenue 5.5 million for a sole practitioner. 1.9 in salaries, 500 overheads, cost 2.4, profit 3 million and change. Profit percentage 55%. Now, last year, the revenue was $4.3 million and $2 million in profit. This year, 5.5 and $3 million in profit. Last year, they had a total of 15 people. This year, a total of 16 people. They hired one person in 12 months. By my advice, that one person was what we call a client excellence coordinator, one in admin. And the CEC, his or her job was to, or is, to take the administrative tasks away from the accountants so the accountants free up capacity so we can have a higher average hourly rate and so that we can add more revenue. And they did. Productivity last year, so last year I'm talking 2021, this year 2022. Productivity for the partners last year, 100%. This year, 38%. So not only did we reduce partner time dramatically, and maybe for 2023 here, we'll get an even better result, but we reduced partner time, less reliance on partners, and we increased revenue and increased profit by 50%. Productivity of the accountants, 100%. 100%. Not good. Not good at all. This is a hours machine, 26,000 hours going out the door every year. Average hourly rate, 206. Last year, 146. At 26,000 hours, at a $60 increase in margin, that's where the revenue and that's where the profit came from. But we could actually do more with this firm. And of course, it's sustainability index 73%, quite high, but still we've got partner contribution at 38%. We could actually do more with this firm. If we were to reduce accountants' productivity, as in reliance on accountants churning 100, because if you're doing 100% productive, let's say pushing 2,000 hours out the door per accountant, that means they're working 2,500. Not healthy at all. If we reduce that and focused on average hourly rate to say 250 to 300, we could have a better, life balance, and we could actually make even more profitability. If we here in this firm, the ratio of accountants to admin is still not high enough. Sorry, admin to accountants not high enough. If we were to hire another 2 admin people, 2 of the same one we just hired last year, client excellence coordinators, we would actually get even more efficient in this firm, and we would be able to reduce the productivity and with a fixed price, increase the average hourly rate. And as a result of that and the revenue, more profit, less stress. Often the key in hiring is not more accountants, but more administration. Interesting. That is covered in the report in some depth as to why the argument on hiring more admin people per full-time equivalent accountant is better than hiring more accountants to do the accounting work. Stephen, what a question. How do they keep overhead at 10% leverage with offshore staffing? Also type of work must be value-added work. So Stephen, are you referring to the $7.4 million firm? So Stephen, just give me a thumbs up on that so I can answer that in a bit more detail. Stephen, which firm are you talking about? This firm, Stephen, or the 7.41? This firm. Okay, great. Thank you. So this particular firm has no offshore team, first of all. They have no offshore team. They have one office in Florida. It is a small office. So the overhead is 10%. They have a small office. There's only 15 folks here. It doesn't need to be very expensive overhead. That's how they're keeping it so low. They have about 100 clients. So their average fee per client is about 50,000 or so. And so they are doing everything from bookkeeping to virtual CFO work here, Stephen. So interesting, Stephen, thanks for the question. The firm before, a $7.4 million firm, average fee per client about $12,000, no virtual CFO work, no advisory work. All their clients are the same. I particularly like, and 636 clients, the previous one, I like that firm makeup better than this one. But you can't deny $3 million in profit before tax for the partner. Pretty good. Okay, let's look at the next one. Keep the questions rolling. Average hourly rate. Average hourly rate is simply the margin of revenue into client hours. So if you get an invoice that says $2,000 and there was 10 client hours, therefore $200 and so on and so forth. Do that for the whole firm. So the lower quartile was $127. The mechanic makes more than that. The median quartile, $155. The masseuse at a resort makes more than that. The upper quartile at $214. The masseuse at a 5-star hotel makes more than that. And the best result, $444. Most firms do not spend enough time on this particular number because this is the number that is affected by the price, the process, and the product. This is a number, and Kevin's on the horn right now and on this webinar. We did an exercise with Kevin 2 weeks ago. Kevin's got a kick-ass firm in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we worked out with his average hourly rate with a new focus on it, he could add $1.5 million in revenue and $1.5 million in profit this year by changing a few things with his AHR. Mind-blowing little session there, Kevin, a couple of weeks back. This particular number is a result of the work that you do with your clients. It's a result of how efficient you are. It is a result of how you price. Working on it. Thanks, Kevin, right? It is a result of what you're actually selling as well. The firm I picked, the particular case study firm, has a really, I didn't pick the 444 one because, by the way, the one at 444 was also the one at 85% profitability percentage for partners, but the partners were doing all the work. So I wanted a better case study here. So here we go. John, the owner, 3 years ago, as I mentioned, 80% productive for him. Small firm, 5 accountants, 3 admin marketing, also 8, 9 people, revenue per person, 233, quite healthy. And leverage 8 to 1, not high enough. Revenue, $2 million, 1.98. This year targeting 2.8. So not huge, right? Salaries, 800,000, call it, 560 in overheads, total costs 1.3, profit of 628, quite low. Profit percentage quite low at 32%. I'm gonna make some comments on this in a moment. 32% profitability, 2% productivity for John himself. The accountant's 72%, and here's our AHR at $369, and then our sustainability index of 97%. Now, John, what he's done here, he has, Harry, I'll come back to your question in a moment, thank you. What John has done here 3 years ago at the start of COVID, he realized, and this is what he told me, he realized he couldn't sustain that. So he hired a tax manager. He was about $1 million in revenue, by the way, at the start of COVID, what's that, March 2020. And all this transformation started then. He was 80% productive, about $1 million in revenue, sustainability index very low, it was all on him. And so he hired a senior tax manager, number one, and took a dip in profitability. But the result of this is that now he's built the infrastructure where he has a lowish percentage profitability for sure, but tons of capacity to grow the business. So it's a catch-22. If you are punching out as a partner, high average hourly rate, but it's all on you, you'll have good income, maybe $400,000 or $500,000 profit, but you won't have any bandwidth or capacity to grow the revenue or the profit. So consequently, you stay a bit stagnant. You've got to invest, like John did, in senior talent so you can delegate down, reduce your time dramatically, then we can grow. So John took a hit on profitability percentage, 32%, so that he could grow. And this year, he'll grow to 2.8. He has a full-time salesperson now. So John's got a full-time salesperson just selling. He's got a marketing person as well, marketing. He can now build. A couple of questions, Harry. What's the optimum leverage people to partner? Harry, as much as possible, but start at 10 or 12. Let's shake the mindset out, right? Harry's gone leverage. Leverage is the question. What happens in practice owner, practitioner firms? You get to about $1 million in revenue as a solo, and you think you need another partner. And so you may have 5 or 6 or 7 people with $1 million in revenue. Oh, we need another partner. You don't need another partner. Most of the partners I meet, by the way, this month, May 2023, it's the 25th of May. 5 days ago and 29 years, the 20th of May, 1994, 29 years ago and 5 days, I started working with accountants. I've worked in 18 countries, 18. I have met tens of thousands of partners, tens of thousands. I've stepped into hundreds and hundreds of accounting firms, interviewed thousands, trained about 200,000. And I've met so many partners who are there for retention reasons, not good business reasons. They go through the ranks, and because of tenure, they've been around a while. We better make Mary a partner, otherwise Mary might leave. Mary's behavior doesn't change. Bill's behavior doesn't change. They become an overpaid senior manager. Too many partners. So Harry, the leverage question of people to partner, you're about to see one at 50 to 1 coming up with a different mindset, structure, management process. You don't need as many partners. The jewel in your crown, in your wealth crown, is the equity in your accounting business. And then if you structure it correctly, you can have this thing just print cash as an investment. Okay, Richard, do you take on solo practitioners that are in month 16 of starting the firm, a brand new firm with a little history? So Richard, yeah, if you're over $1 million in revenue, for sure, we will do that, because our methodology and our content is targeted towards getting you to more than $1 million in profit, while your time is less than 500 hours per year, client time. So if you're over that now, by all means, jump on the QR code, book a meeting, and we'll have a chat. For sure. Stephen, for Sustainability Index, what do you, Kevin, I think that was the comment about the partners, Kevin, you're right? For Sustainability Index, what do you count in the numerator, partner revenue from partner hours, or revenue the partner manager overseas? Okay, sure. So the Sustainability Index revenue from the partners would be, number one, direct time charged to clients. That's an easy one, right? Also, review time. If you are keeping a timesheet or not, you need to add in the review time of your team members' work, because you're touching the work, right? We put out sales time, because that's a sales activity. Delivery meetings, Stephen, so presentation meetings, not marketing or sales, but meetings where you're presenting the final job. Anything looks like advice, of course. So whether you keep a timesheet or not, it is you touching anything that looks like client work, Stephen. I hope that answers your question. So back to the case study with John. Perfect. Thank you very much, Stephen. Back to the case study with John. This is a firm that I wanted to highlight because you rarely see a firm at $2 million, very rare, where the partner productivity is at 2%. Most $2 million firms haven't worked that riddle out yet, but you can. Average hourly rate, back to that, measured by period, quarterly, monthly, weekly, by product. If you want to get really into this, look at all the invoices. This one's $5,000 with 25 hours on it, therefore 200. This one's $5,000 with 50 hours on it, therefore 100. What happened? This product, and for our American friends and many and Canadians and Australians the last couple of years, government subsidy money, ERTC credits, that product had a high margin for many of you. What's the next product? We've got a firm we once coached in Florida, the bookkeeping product at $800 an hour. How do you get bookkeeping to $800 an hour? Easy, right? All the clients are the same, 100% the same. They have 100% the same accounting software. In this case, with all QBO. All the tech was set up to all the clients. All the rules in QBO was set up. And for 15 minutes a month, reconciliations were done. $200 a month fixed fee. Good product. By person. Some people are more efficient than others, measuring average hourly rate by person and by client. It'll blow you away, team. It'll blow you away when you get a spreadsheet and you put all your clients into a spreadsheet at the end of the year or whenever you do it, right? Column A is client name. Column B is revenue that you got from that client last year. Column C is hours taken to deliver the revenue. D is B into C, which will give you the average hourly rate per client. So if you're at $150 right now, half your clients are below, half are above. What are you going to do about that? Many of your larger revenue clients have a lower average hourly rate. They're not as profitable as some of your smaller revenue clients. By focusing on average hourly rate, it should be increasing monthly. It should be increasing monthly. Your AHR should increase monthly. If you go for $10 a month increase, Kevin, I'm talking to you, right? Because we did this exercise 2 weeks ago. If you go for $10 a month, AHR, boom, $10, $10. By the end of the year, you've had an increase of $120, net increase of $60. Great. Start the year. You're at 150 this year. You get to the end of the year at 270. Net result is going to be 210 because half were at 10, half were not. We start the year now at 270. Next year, and we go 10 a month, 10 a month, 10 a month. We end the year at 390. We go 10 a month, 10 a month, 10 a month. We end the year, the next one at 510. Boom. It goes up, it goes up, it goes up. Leverage. So back to Harry's question on optimum level leverage people to partner. I thought I'd throw in a case study here. A very different case study. You'll see why. One partner, Los Angeles. 45 accountants. They're supposed to say 5. I'm going to change that. 5 admin and marketing, total of 50 people. So one partner, 50 people. Leverage of 50 to 1, of course. This particular firm I communicated more with than any other firm to verify all the numbers. Revenue per full-time equivalent person, just $29,000. I want to show you this one for a very different business model. Leverage 50 to 1. Revenue 1.5. I rounded it to so close, I just rounded it to 1.5. Salaries $300,000. How do you have salaries of 300 grand for 50 people? So I had to ask many questions around this because that is that 12 or 5? $6,000 per year per person. Overheads $290. Total costs $590. Profit $910. We've got 61% profitability, but the revenue per FTE is only $29,000. Partner productivity 0. Gaurav does no work, no client work. Accountants just 46%. Where we've got another 50% at least on top of that. AHR $30. And I'm quizzing Gaurav, going, are you sure these numbers are right? Show me, yeah, he sent me P&L, balance sheet, the whole thing. Show me everything you've got so I can work it out my way. Sustainability next 100%. So how do you do that, right? So how do you actually get 61% profitability at $30 AHR? Well, he's buying the labor for $3 in India and selling it for $30 in the USA. He's making 10 times his money on the labor. His cost of goods sold at 10 times. So Average hourly rate, yes, can increase. But there's also an argument for a different labor source model and having a lower average hourly rate. Now, as I said to Gaurav, I've got a bunch of clients that could buy you at $30 wholesale an hour. You do the work, and then they'll sell it at $250, and the client would be none the wiser. Team, if you look at this business, Stephen, I know it seems low. I can just go on what I was shown out of his QBO file, right? So, but if you look at this firm, a lot of upside here. Somewhere along the line, Gaurav has chosen a high volume, low margin of average hourly rate model. Somewhere along the line. He could be quadruple, quintuple that number in AHR and still have no client pushback. He'd have client pushback for his current clients, but the next client, he would not. He's got loads of productivity upside here. Take that 46% to 75, 80%. Happy days, right? Could do that quite easily. He could grow. He's got an engine. He's got a machine that he's worked out on how to do this offshore at a limited cost. He could do this for as big as he wanted, as large a firm as he wanted. I wanted to show you this model to get you thinking there's different ways to skin the cat. But having said that, hats off to him. He's got 61% margin. He doesn't do any client work, and he's got a thriving business, which could go wherever he wanted to. Teresa, what exactly makes up the productivity accountants? Not following how this case is 46%. So you might call it utilization. It's either utilization or productivity. So let's say we've got 2,000 worked hours in the year, give or take. How many for accountants, for that particular accountant, did they do on client delivery work? We did 1,000 out of 2,000. Therefore, you're 50% productive, or you were utilized 50% of the time. So in this case, the accountants, he's got way too many accountants or not enough work for the accountants, because 46% means they're working for 2.5 days a week, but getting paid for 5. I hope that answers your question. So, team, I wanted to highlight that, a few case studies there. Then I wanted to go into a discussion about you and changing your results. So we have to ask a question as we go through all of this. What's holding you back? As you reflect, our American and Canadian friends have just come out of tax season, busy season, last few weeks. You reflect on that, and you're here either listening to this live, or you're here listening to this, and recording. You're here because you want to improve. You're interested in how you compare and want to improve. So, question you have to ask yourself is, what's holding you back? Is it pricing and packaging? You're just not charging enough. You're not packaged it up appropriately. Is it a communication program with clients? You're not communicating with them enough in a regular cadence. Is it workflow? You're not efficient with what you're doing. You're inefficient. Is it the way you utilize your time? The whole time utilization model here. Is it on growth that you don't have a database to market to? Is it marketing and sales that works? Is it what you sell, the product mix? Or is it your people? The mindset of your people, the structure of your people, the performance of your people? I don't know. It's different for every firm, but if you want to improve, and we're assuming here, you are here because you want to actually do something different. You're interested in where you sit as far as benchmarking, and you want to, and the report's coming out next week. You'll get a copy of this, you'll read it, and then you'll say, okay, that's how I compare. You'll work out your own numbers. There's about 25 different numbers to work out. There's a metrics guide at the back of the report as well. And that's great. That's benchmarking for today. But then, okay, and we've got a little goals section there. I want to get to this number. Okay, if you want to get to that number, what do we need to fix? What do we need to change, alter, redo, different system, different process, different whatever? Let me give you the biggest issue as to why you don't, I'm going to say excel, or why you don't live up to your potential as to where you should be. I coach accounting firms. We coach accounting firms. We're a team of people that coach accounting. We see this all the time. We see that the biggest issue is not these tactics on screen right now. The biggest issue is you. The biggest issue is your comfort zone. I want to talk to you about being uncomfortable to get more success. If you got anything out of this today, to me, this is the biggest piece of content. So Bob Riggs came up with this. He said, many of us have established a comfort zone in their lives. We're just coasting along, taking the path of least resistance, getting by. Common, understandable, worked hard to where we are. It may seem like a good place to be. You're making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 profit. Seems okay, right? You're having a good lifestyle. Kids are in private schools or college. Your charitable donations. You're helping your family out. Nice house, right? Great. You're comfortable. The problem with this is that once we stop reaching, stretching, seeking, and risking, we actually stop growing. The comfort zone frame of mind is selling for what you are today. And this may be fine today, but without continued growth, you are now all you're ever going to be. If you're in the comfort zone, beware. The danger of it, it doesn't hurt. It actually might even feel good. Here you are. You've bounced out of your busy season, taken a sigh of relief, had a quick vacation for a couple of weeks probably, and now it's time to think. Now it's time to think dramatically about what you want to do with this firm, how far you want to take it, what you want it to look like. We think, as we look at firms, you should think of the word transform. Transform your profit. Want to transform your profitability before partner salaries. So the number, not the percent. The percentage goes up as well. Transform your cash, getting far more free cash flow. Transform your revenue, building a thriving business. You know, accountants moan about not finding enough great people. Well, people want to be on a winning team. The people you want to hire are already hired. But if you could demonstrate a thriving, growing business, people will jump to that. Transforming your team, showing your team how to transform their lives, transforming your clients. You know, we have an edict, and that is, and it's a belief, that is all your clients should be buying all services that they need that helps them achieve your goals. You're not in the accounting business, you're in the goal achievement business. You sell accounting services so that you can help your clients achieve their financial goals. You help your clients achieve their financial goals, you'll transform them. Transform your lifestyle. You're building a better lifestyle, which is awesome. More time, more money, more things, more enjoyment. Transform your wealth. You're building generational wealth. This accounting firm can provide. It can provide a nice income, for sure. It can provide an awesome income, for sure. It can provide tons of time, for sure. And if you do it right, it can provide generational wealth. And lastly, transform yourself. This is the mindset to get into. So how do we do that? Well, we do that with accountability. We do that with learning and sharing. Today is about content. The report is about content. And you'll get the report, you'll get excited by that. You may get a bit excited about today, but whatever, this fades. It fades, team. The impetus of today, the impetus of reading a report, going to a webinar, going to a seminar, reading a book, it fades. It's just life gets in the way. We want to help you by helping you, coach you with how-to tools and support so we keep the pressure on, and we grow up and to the right, up and to the right. So from today, you've got a few choices. You can do a little on your own. I said, do nothing, actually. Sorry, you can do nothing. That's a choice. That was nice. Learn a couple of things. I'm going to stick to doing what I'm doing. No worries. It's your business, not mine. You can do a little on your own. Sure. Without a doubt. You can do it small pieces. We give you lots of free things. A question was asked earlier on. I'm at 600. How do I get to $1 million without your help? If you go to robnixon.com, there's lots of free tools on there, books up the wazoo, different reports, a lot of self-help in there as well, which should get you to at least $1 million. Then we can help you get to $1 million profit. Or you can transform with our coaching, our how-to tools, implementation support process. Website is, thank you, Rob Nixon. I'll just put this in the chat here. robnixon.com and go to guides. Teresa, go to guides, free stuff. So team, we want to help you. As I mentioned at the start, our unhidden agenda. We want to help 8 firms to grow right now, but only if you're more than $1 million in revenue, 1 to 5 aligned partners, ambitious and coachable. Do not waste your time or ours if you're not ready to get started straight away. Let's meet, see if we can help. I'll put the meeting details in the chat, which should be like there, boom. So you can either click on the link in the chat, or you can scan that QR code, book a meeting with our implementation specialist, Wendy. Wendy will assess what you've implemented right now. We say no to about a third, just so you know. When we get to a meeting like this, we say yes to a third, and then we come to a mutual agreement that it's a not now for later on, a couple of years' time from now. So team, we'd love to help you. Not all of you, some of you. We've got capacity right now to help. We help in a face-to-face and also in a virtual environment. We have a whole cadence and cycle of meetings. We've got a massive resource library, tools, content, process, great community of people. We only work with a maximum 64 firms at any one time. So if that's you, then pop on over to the meeting link. Yes, David, recording will be made available for your reference without a doubt. That will happen after in the next couple of days. So hang 5 on that, and the report as well, David, also. So team, so which site not working? Hanny, which site not working? Need to fix that. I just clicked on the meeting site. That works fine. It is working for me. Okay, Hanny, you're right. It's Nixon, not Nixion. Rob Nixon. Nixon.com. Try that, Hanny. Thank you, Clive. Okay, team. Hope you enjoyed that. Looking forward to, sure, Hanny. Looking forward to working with some of you. I get directly involved in every single firm, personally, face-to-face. We do have a really cool workshop next week called Fast Start. And we want to work with you to help you with the objective: more time, more money, more freedom, more meaning. Let's see if we can help. Have fun. Hope you found that useful. All the best, and good afternoon to our North American friends, and good morning to my Australian friends. All the best. Bye-bye.